Independence marked a major milestone in our journey towards nationhood and the creation of our Jamaican state. That journey started with the arrival of Columbus in 1492 and the subsequent conquest, exploitation, and establishment of a system of enslavement and a plantation society under European colonial rule, which lasted for 470 years until our independence in 1962. After World War II, European empires receded as their economies and armies tried to rebuild, and nationalist fervor in the colonies grew. Colonialism, as a mechanism for social, economic, and political control of conquered and claimed lands, had outlived its usefulness in the context of emerging poles of power in America and Asia. The process of redefining the world order had begun, with former colonies claiming their independence either through struggle or negotiation or both. Independence in this era did not mean that former colonies were now on equal power footing in the international systems. Though colonialism as a practice ended, imperialism as a political force would continue to drive the relationships between newly independent states and the established power poles of the world. For all practical considerations, independence is always constrained by our global relations and, more importantly, by our global obligations. For small independent states like Jamaica, the global context has a significant impact and poses serious challenges to our aspirations for self-determination and economic development. On Independence Day, 52 years ago, such considerations would not necessarily be a driving concern. It was a euphoric time when the ideals of building a just and prosperous nation were foremost in the minds of all Jamaicans. It must have been an optimistic time when our children believed that their future was secured. The independence decade was a period of economic boom, growth, and expansion, unparalleled since. It was a period of time when Jamaicans believed they were going to build a new Jamaica. Jamaicans were positive about Jamaica. Consider that more than 80% of the Jamaican population was not around when Jamaica gained independence. The values, dreams, and aspirations of the independence generation have largely disappeared. The positive and optimistic outlook is gone and has been replaced with cynicism and lack of trust. There's a great deal of uncertainty about our future. We have not yet realized the new Jamaica we conceived 52 years ago. What does independence mean to the post-independence generation of Jamaicans? What have we done with our independence, and what do we want to do with our independence? What is the spirit, vision, and ethos of the Jamaican citizen towards our country and our nation? Today, we must reflect on what has happened in the 52 years since independence. The post-independence generation of Jamaicans must now start the next phase. We must craft a vision for the next 50 years of Jamaican statehood. The youth of Jamaica must become more vocal and active in defining the future that they would want to see for themselves. Those who prefer to criticize Project Jamaica from their verandas, I urge you to rise up and, among other actions, walk to the polling stations. You can be a powerful force for change in this country. The post-independent leaders must emerge and take charge of piloting the future and rekindling the hope and optimism of Jamaica. Our independence is precious. Regardless of the constraints of the global order of things, within that global order, Jamaica has opportunities and prospects which we must use to our advantage to spur growth and development. For example, we have a significant and influential diaspora in the power centers of the world, which can contribute much more than just remittances. In our vision for the next 50 years, Jamaica must find direct and deliberate ways to include and leverage our diaspora. Brand Jamaica has been spoken about time and time again. It is very influential in sports, in pop culture, and in content generation for art, film, and music. The next phase of the independence vision must build an industry around this and secure the benefits for our people. We must take a second look at where our trading advantage lies. Historical and sentimental linkages may not be relevant or even useful in the changing world. Presently, our strongest regional political ties are not aligned to our largest and nearest potential markets. We must now seek to build stronger trading alliances with the Northern Caribbean region. And we must position ourselves strategically to benefit from the growth which will take place in Africa particularly. Finally, the leaders and planners for the next 50 years must commit to ending poverty in Jamaica. It is not an impossible task. We must first change our maternalistic outlook on poverty. We must come to the understanding that loving the poor is not enough. We must go further to lift the people out of poverty. And the poor must not shy away from their desire for prosperity. We must reject any excuse or any protector of poverty. We have no reason to be poor. On this Independence Day, you must reaffirm to yourself that we will build a Jamaica where every Jamaican can step up in a life.